Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision. But as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out.
Hamas has spent the last 15 months losing. Their leaders are dead. Their tunnels gone. Their weapons almost dried up. And now they have one final choice. Release the hostages or be completely wiped out. Trump just set a deadline, noon on Saturday. The question isn't just whether Hamas complies. The question is whether this is the final countdown for Hamas. Because if Netanyahu decides to finish Hamas, this war won't just end. Hamas will cease to exist. President Trump just put Hamas on the clock. They have until noon on Saturday to release every single hostage, or Israel will finish this war once and for all. Let's hear from Trump himself. Have a listen.
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision. But as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
And so that's how you deal with terrorists. Not with negotiations, not with appeasement, but with overwhelming force. And here's what people need to understand. This isn't about a ceasefire anymore. This is about whether Hamas survives. They've lost control of Gaza. Their leadership is being hunted down. Their leadership is almost completely wiped out. Their supply lines are dried up. And now they're about to lose the only leverage they have, the remaining hostages. And the second those hostages are out, Israel has zero reason to hold back. And Trump is making it clear. Netanyahu has full license to finish Hamas off for good. So this isn't just a deadline. This is a moment that decides Hamas's fate. Hamas is collapsing. This isn't speculation. It's a fact. Regardless of what Al Jazeera puts out. And I want to break it down even further. So here's what we've got at the moment. The initial air and ground assault from back in October all the way through January absolutely hammered Hamas's infrastructure. Israel pounded them with nonstop airstrikes. Over 40,000 terrorist targets were hit. Command centers, weapons depots, launch sites. Hamas's northern stronghold in Gaza City was absolutely crushed. IDF forces wiped out the entire terrorist battalions up there. Then came the tunnel warfare. Hamas went underground, but Israel's Yachlom unit, a special operations sapper unit in Israel's Shayetet Shalosh Esrei, the Israeli SEALs flushed him out. 300 tunnels destroyed, more, cutting off weapons, food supplies to the terrorists, and Hamas's underground headquarters in Shifa Hospital was uncovered and completely eliminated. You guys remember that one? Then Israel decapitated all of Hamas's leadership systematically. Their top commanders started dropping like flies. Ahmed Gandour, the North Gaza brigade chief, eliminated. Marwan Issa, Hamas's shadow commander, taken out in a target strike. Bye-bye. Mohammed Sinwar, Yechi's brother, another key operational leader, gone. So here we are. Hamas is left with a couple of isolated cells, barely any supply lines, and no escape routes. There's nowhere for them to go. So that's why Trump's deadline matters, because Hamas knows they're finished. The only question is, do you want to die fighting, or do you want to surrender and take 1 second shot of life in an Israeli prison? So now the question is, what will Bibi Netanyahu do? And so here's how I see it. He's got two options here. He can keep the ceasefire alive, which will continue to do what it's already done, which is buy more time for negotiations. But he knows that Hamas uses this time to regroup, and it also makes Israel look weak. He's aware of the signaling. Bibi comes from Seret Matkal. He understands the counterterrorism world. Or he can end the war and wipe Hamas out. And that removes Hamas out permanently, sends a message to Iran and all the Gulf states and every terror group watching, and it makes Israel look very strong. The Aaron Cohen Show is sponsored by the Cherries Deep Concealment holster. This is the same holster I trained Keanu on for the John Wick franchise. This thing runs BWB, or below the waistband, means there is zero digging into your gut, and this holster will never fall off you because it runs below the waistband. Also, lightning fast draw with just a little bit of training. Hit the link down in the description to order one of these bad boys. They ship next day. Zero lead time with these things now. They ship next day. Lightning fast draw. Fits all double stacked 9 and 40 Glocks. Fully adjustable clip and ambidextrous lefties, you're covered. Hit the link down in the description. Grab one of these bad boys and finally carry with comfort and total concealment. But I want to be honest, it's not an easy choice. Bibi's in a real pickle here. It's a tough situation because he wants to get back and preserve life. He wants those hostages free. And that all of history is watching him right now. And if he hesitated, he could lose everything. So there's a ton of pressure on Bibi. I don't envy him. I have faith that he'll make the best choice. Now, I want to talk about what happens when Hamas is gone. Trump's plan is already in motion. The Palestinians of Gaza are already looking at being relocated to Egypt and Jordan and other Gulf states. And guess what that means? No more human shields. No more excuses. This would mean Egypt would end up setting up camps in the Sinai. Jordan would end up absorbing a ton of refugees. By the way, Jordan's 70% Palestinian. Saudi Arabia and the UAE, under U.S. pressure, would also be offering temporary housing. There's thousands of places. And once Hamas is wiped out, Gaza can get rebuilt and all that Arab and Western investment can come in. And then there's no more tunnels, no more Iranian rocket factories, just functional, stable region under proper security oversight. So this isn't just about winning the war. It's about making sure that Israel never has to fight this battle again, and the Palestinians will never be used as cannon fodder and human shields again. And so the last phase is here. This is the final takedown of Hamas. And with Gaza emptied of its civilians, the gloves will be off. And I think that's what we're going to see happen here. We're going to see those civilians pushed into a corner of Gaza or moved into those Arab and Gulf states. You're going to see the Israeli Air Force moving in first. Those F-35s are nasty. They're going to be coming in, and drones are going to be coming in to take out every remaining command center with those giant Moab bombs that the U.S. has finally given to Israel. And every weapons depot and every last known tunnel exit is going to get obliterated. You're going to have armored columns rolling in. The 401st Armored Brigade, backed with those nasty Merkava tanks, are going to cut through what's left of Hamas's terror lines. Their job? Isolate final Hamas forces, box them in, pressure cooker them, and make sure that they can't escape. And at the same time, you're going to have units like Duvdevan, Egoz, and Maglan, the elite commando brigade, leading close quarters battle operations. These units specialize in that rapid, high-intensity urban combat. They're going to be clearing out the last Hamas hideouts, structure by structure. Nobody does it better than the commando brigade. And then down in the south, you're going to have Israeli SEALs, She'et Shalosh Esrei, and they're going to be conducting, along with Yachlom, the engineer sapper unit, they're going to be conducting those high-risk tunnel clears, the remaining tunnels. So that we're talking about a full-scale underground tunnel assault. Very dangerous. Linear assault, or tubular assault is what it's called. Eliminating Hamas's, really their fortified bunkers are these tunnels. Then you're going to have infantry units like Golani and Givati brigades sweeping those open areas, ensuring no resistance remains. The Israeli Navy's missile boats are going to be preventing Hamas's last desperate attempts to escape by sea. They do have naval commando assets. We saw them on October 7th. And by the time the operations are done, Hamas will be gone. No more tunnels, no more leadership, no more battalions, completely wiped out. And this war only ends with the complete extermination of Hamas. And so this is it. The final hours of Hamas. Trump gave the order. Netanyahu has the choice. And the IDF is ready. And so now we wait and we keep an eye on Netanyahu to see what he wants to do. Either way, I think he's going to make the right choice. And whatever choice he does make will be based on actionable intelligence. But I want to say this. This is more than a war. This is the erasure of Hamas from existence. It's no more ceasefire, no more negotiations. Just total victory, like we say in Hebrew, ad hanitzachon. And when this war is over, Gaza will never be a terrorist stronghold again. No more Hamas, no more rockets, no more tunnels. So now I ask you, should Israel finish Hamas right now? Should this war end with a complete and total Israeli victory? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Also, share this episode because history isn't just being written here. It's being fought for. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Also, if you guys are a fan of the show, do me a favor. Help support the show and join my Season 1 sponsorship team. We're completely independently produced and supported by you, the fans, and the viewers. Hit the link down in the description and grab yourself a mini sponsorship package. They start at $25. Helps keep the lights on in the studio and helps me to continue to combat that garbage anti-Israel misinformation that's out there. Hit the link down in the description and join my Season 1 team. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to come back to this one as the Saturday noon deadline approaches. I'm going to keep a close eye on it, and I'm going to be back in the studio taping if I hear anything from my sources on the ground in Israel. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching The Aaron Cohen Show, and I'll see you guys soon on the next one.